A great big fat gift from China for Joe Biden. That's how it worked out with COVID-19. He knows it. I know it. You probably know it. COVID-19 made Joe Biden president. It did. And even his team acknowledging it. There's a great new best-selling book about the campaign. It's by two very well-informed Beltway reporters. And let's put it on the screen. This is from Anita Dunn, senior advisor to Joe Biden throughout the campaign. Dunn told one associate what campaign officials believed but would never say in public about the disease's effect on Biden's fortunes. COVID is the best thing that ever happened to him, she said. The best thing that ever happened to him. This is from the Beltway. I believe this story. And when I look at these reporters, today it's almost like an anniversary of the best thing that ever happened for Joe Biden, when the World Health Organization declared COVID-19 a pandemic.
The World Health Organization declared the coronavirus a global pandemic exactly 1 year ago today.
As we mentioned earlier, this morning marks the one-year anniversary of the World Health Organization declaring COVID-19 an international pandemic.
I think we all thought, well, we'll see each other in a week, maybe, perhaps 2 weeks. We could not imagine that a year later, this newsroom would be empty.
And just look at how startling a year it has been in this country, as measured by, well, every single metric you can come up with.
Communities are marking 1 year of the pandemic.
It's been a full year now since the world almost overnight changed as we know it.
And a full year of the left-leaning media covering COVID-19 in a way that would hurt Donald Trump and help Joe Biden. They did it every single step of the way. And Joe Biden, as we know from his own team, exploited it. And actually still, to this day, take this full. This was a few weeks ago, the anniversary of the commemoration, rather, of the 500,000th death. And some folks thought this was a little much, a little over the top, even a little bit ghoulish. Yes, ghoulish, because Joe made death a theme of his campaign. Morbidly interested in death or disaster? You tell me.
But equally important, care for the living, those who left behind, for the loved ones left behind. I know all too well. I know what it's like to not be there when it happens. I know what it's like when you are there, holding their hands. There's a look in your eye and they slip away. That black hole in your chest, you feel like you're being sucked into it.
That's tough stuff, but I don't know if that's presidential leadership. You know, the media celebrating what the WHO declared a year ago, overlooking their mistakes, and they made critical mistakes. And when President Trump had America withdraw from the World Health Organization, there was a lot of reason to do that. And Dr. Fauci somehow remains a hero.
But one of the things I keep hearkening back to that you can't run away from is that we had such divisiveness in our country that even simple common sense public health measures took on a political connotation. When people, you know, if you wanted to wear a mask, you were on this side. If you wanted to stay in and avoid congregate settings, you were on this side. It wasn't a pure public health approach. It was really, you know, very much influenced by the divisiveness that we had in this country. I mean, where we were saying mixed messages were coming from Washington, that's for sure.
Fascinating that this guy, the mainstream media, consider a hero. A hero. The mixed messaging? I mean, he's pointing his finger at Trump, but he's responsible for the mixed messaging.
When you're in the middle of an outbreak, wearing a mask might make people feel a little bit better, and it might even block a droplet, but it's not providing the perfect protection that people think that it is. And often there are unintended consequences. People keep fiddling with the mask and they keep touching their face.
I listened. To this day, I keep thinking, well, I'm not the... Dr. Fauci did say that made a big impression, but we're wearing masks now. Because Dr. Fauci changed his mind and changed his messaging. You saw this probably.
please wear a mask.
Oh, watch out. You might inadvertently touch your face, and you said that's a problem. Wear a mask, except if you're at the bowl game with people, right, Dr. Fauci? How about this guy? All right, when he's not being inconsistent, he's being, I think, deliberately vague, just like the great bureaucrat that he is. He doesn't want to be pinned down on anything. He's deliberately vague. Oldest trick in the swamp. All right. In the meantime, we do have the massive COVID-19 relief bill. There's Joe Biden signing it today in the Oval Office. Kamala Harris looking right over her shoulder. You can't see her. So some good things in there, I'm sure, but a lot of weird stuff, too. Just a sample, $50 million for family planning, $200 million for the Institute of Museum and Library Services, and also $1.5 billion for Amtrak. Joe Amtrak Biden. And how about this? $5 billion for debt repayment targeting disadvantaged farmers in the COVID-19 stimulus package. Now, disadvantaged farmers, socially disadvantaged farmers, and there's a definition. The term socially disadvantaged, this is part of the legal code. This is from the bill. The term socially disadvantaged means a group whose members have been subjected to racial or ethnic prejudice because of their identity as members of a group without regard to their individual qualities. This would appear, as Lindsey Graham said, something akin to reparations. Reparations. How about that? Deep, deep, deep inside that very big bill. But, hey, finally, thanks to Donald Trump, we do have the vaccine. Former presidents, for whatever reason, they only had former presidents, make the case.
What I'm really looking forward to is going to opening day in Texas Ranger Stadium with a full stadium.
We've lost enough people, and we've suffered enough damage.
In order to get rid of this pandemic, it's important for our fellow citizens to get vaccinated.
I'm getting vaccinated because we want this pandemic to end as soon as possible.
So we urge you to get vaccinated when it's available to you.
So roll up your sleeve and do your part.
This is our shot.
Now it's up to you.
Every living former president except Donald Trump, huh? Not sure why he wasn't included, but he did put out this statement, and it's a doozy, and it's full of truth. I hope everyone remembers when they're getting the COVID-19, often referred to as a China virus, vaccine, that if I wasn't president, you wouldn't be getting that beautiful shot for 5 years at best, and probably wouldn't be getting it at all. I hope everyone remembers. Mr. President, we will remember. Even some of his critics, the ones who really know these issues with the vaccine and the pharmaceutical companies, yeah, it wouldn't have happened without him. All right, folks, we got to do this possibly, hopefully for the last time, a little update on the Meghan Markle situation. People have been combing through that video, and they found potentially a big fat fib from Meghan.
When I joined that family, that was the last time until we came here that I saw my passport, my driver's license, my keys. All that gets turned over. I didn't see any of that anymore.
Sounds like she's 8 years old, all right? She's almost 40. She's an adult woman. And she was able to travel the world, trying to make it sound like she was under lock and key. Look at all the places they went. According to one royal observer, sounds as if it fitted Meghan's narrative of being trapped and isolated, but really was routine, and probably anything would be accessible to her if she wanted it. All right. Hopefully this will be the final word on Meghan. Last night, we had Nigel Farage on. He was a leader of the Brexit Party in the UK. He's a big fan of Donald Trump, and I think he spoke a lot of truth. These comments went mega viral.
Very well indeed, but very angry. Very, very angry. These people are exemplars of duty, service, honesty, decency, and discretion. And then we see a grandson in the shape of Prince Harry, who marries an actress who clearly wants to be a princess, but doesn't actually want to do the job. She had only ever met Oprah Winfrey once in her life, and yet Winfrey was there at that amazing royal wedding 3 years ago. This had all been planned from the start. And that clip you just showed is of a manipulative actress. She was acting. And the story that she told bears no resemblance to the facts at all. People cannot believe. They cannot believe, not just her, but that Prince Harry would wash the family's dirty linen in public. He is trashing the Queen, trashing the Duke of Edinburgh, and trashing the UK's reputation in the world.
Wow, huh? He also pointed out that her first step basically was Hollywood, got that Netflix deal, and now they're living in that house, that $15 million house. I believe it's in Malibu or pretty close. But you know who I actually blame in part for this situation in the UK? The Kardashians. Yes, the Kardashians. I think they're responsible for a lot, you know? I mean, none of them, they don't sing, they don't dance, they're not writers, they're just there, and they're billionaires. And they have promoted their own image, but they've also promoted the idea that anybody can become famous if they have a cell phone. They are getting billions and billions of dollars, and everybody wants in for not much work. Real quick, though, Kim Kardashian did do a nice thing for Alice Marie Johnson. She went to President Trump to see if she could get her released from jail. Nice woman, spent a lot of time in prison for a nonviolent drug offense, first-time offense, and Donald Trump paroled her. And I thought that was very nice. But overall, the message from the Kardashians is not helpful. And the message from the Obamas, for that matter, huh? They also got a massive Netflix deal, just like Harry and Meghan. Harry and Meghan know nothing about creating content, and neither do Michelle and Barack. Didn't stop Michelle from doing her first project for Netflix, one of the worst documentaries and most boring documentaries ever made in the world. And documentaries are often boring. But take a look at this. This actually happened. I still find it's so bad, it's fascinating.
Oh, I thought you were wearing the pink John.
No, that was for earlier, and then that had food on it.
That's the evening.
That was for the day.
That looks like two belts.
It's one belt, but it's three separate.
Oh, it's got a top belt too. Oh, I see. But it's not separated?
No, it's one belt, but you buckle three different.
And it goes on like
this. Is that
this.
the style to have your belt so high now?
She's got tens of millions of dollars for this arrangement.
I don't.
See what I mean? And everybody wants the same thing. Not right. Not right. Nobody wants to do, well, some people do, but I don't know. Netflix is, they do have some good content, though. I'll give that. The Crown is a great show. Folks, stay with us.
You just watched Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news channel, now in more than 70 million homes. You can get Newsmax TV on your cable system or check your cable guide. And if your system doesn't carry Newsmax, call them, tell them you want Newsmax TV, because we're real news for real people.